Hey, welcome to the Center Leader Podcast. My name is Kurt Corcoran, and I have Rob Cox, our next-gen pastor, here with us today. But we welcome you, and we are currently in a series called Staff Stories, and that's what this is, where we're interviewing different people within our staff so that you can get to know them a little bit better. So, Rob, tell me about the man, the myth, the legend, Rob Cox. How did you get to Centerpoint?
How did I get to Centerpoint? So
the legend is you were born in Prattville and then you moved.
no, actually no. So that's a myth.
That's a myth.
That is a myth. Let's call that a myth. There is a long story of this. I'm going to try to make it short for the listeners. Excited to be on, by the way. This is pretty cool that we get to tell our stories. But how did I get to Prattville? How did I get to Centerpoint? There was a time in ministry back in Arkansas. I was in Benton, Arkansas at a church, doing great. Church was healthy, and I just felt like God was saying, "Hey, it's time to be somewhere different." And I didn't know what that was. It was scary because it was like, "Am I doing this wrong? Like, why am I feeling this way?" And it was just through a lot of prayer, and I got connected with a search firm called Vanderbloemen. And from there, church reached out to me down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I went to visit there, and very thankful for that visit, very thankful for that church. It was because I was still nervous. I was like, hey, am I supposed to leave where I am? I was totally content and happy doing ministry, loved those people there. And I went down there to visit, and it was got down there, flew back home, and they offered me the job, but it was a sense of peace that God gave me. He said, hey, you're moving, but it's not here. So the part that I'm thankful for that church is that they helped me explore where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And through that, couple weeks later, the search firm said, hey, what about this church in Alabama? And I gave them the Christian no, was I would pray about it.
Yep.
Because I was like, I just went through this process with this church. Actually, it was 2 days later after I had declined the offer. 2 days later, that's when I gave them the no. It was like, hey, I'm just tired. It was a spiritually straining process.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot.
So I'm just going to pray about it. But 2 weeks later, I'm sitting in my recliner. It was a Wednesday night. I remember it. We had a great Wednesday night. New students coming. I had a student accept Christ, so you would think that would be a great night. But I still felt like, hey, I'm supposed to be moving. I'm supposed to be somewhere else. Didn't know where it was. And so I was typing the email back to Vanderbloemen, apologizing for saying I'd pray about it, and that was really a no. But I'm back to where I'd be able to talk if that church in Alabama is still looking, or any other church, then I'm open to talk about it. And before I could press send, my wife comes out of my daughter's bedroom. She just laid her down, and we hadn't talked. Like, it was like the elephant in the room. We hadn't really talked about the whole process. And she walked out of the room and said, hey, I still feel like we're moving, just totally unprompted. And I was like, that's funny, because I'm typing this email describing to the search firm that, hey, I'm open to talk.
Wow.
And so not 24 hours later, I'm in talks with Steve Boston. We're scheduling a trip to come out here to visit, and it was just through the time that we spent out here, and a very intentional conversation that was not even had with me. It was one of my leaders who just took time to say, hey, how are you doing? Not to me, but to my wife. She because we were missing that. We were missing that pastoral care, people just checking in on us instead of us just all the time doing ministry. And so when that conversation happened, I was like, there's something here. There's something here. And so a lot of things excited me about Centerpoint. The potential here had just opened a building 6 months prior to me being here. And so it was spring of 22. And by summer of 22, June, we moved in June. And we've been here 2.5, going on 3 years now. So it's been an exciting journey, and it seems like just yesterday, and it seems like we're just getting started.
Yeah, and the student ministry is, you've gained a few students since that opening
that
season, right?
It is hard to talk about because every time I talk about it, I'm hearing myself and it sounds almost prideful.
Yeah.
And I try to tell people it was nothing that I personally did. It was just the right place at the right time, the right people. God was wanting to do something.
The momentum.
And maybe there was some leadership structure in there. Maybe there were some systems that needed to be in place. Sure. But on the surface, everybody does those things. I mean, we do a meal. I mean, we feed them pizza, a cheap meal, that is. And we preach. We go to groups. We have worship. Nothing fancy outside. I mean, we're not giving away cars here. Like people think that, like, y'all must be, giving away money every week or something to have those amount of students coming. But the cool thing about it is we didn't do social media for a while because I didn't have anybody to do it.
Yeah.
And if I had to do it, the thing was, if I'm doing it, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because I'm not good at social media. I will repost something maybe at best. Nothing that's on like my Instagram or Facebook was posted originally by me. It was just I got a notification that you were tagged, so can you accept it? And I'm very thankful. But for the longest, we didn't have we weren't promoting the growth.
Yeah.
It was just happening organically. And I'll say it because it still holds true. Every single Wednesday night since I've started keeping track, so since I've been here, it could have been happening before that. So God might have been already moving, and we just really didn't measure it or have a metric for it. But every single Wednesday night of student ministry, we've had a new student in this building.
Yeah.
And that's incredible because it's not like I went and picked them up and drug them here.
Yeah.
The students are doing it. And the students are having something to invite their friends to and be excited about. And that's pretty cool. So I could talk all day about that one. But the students here, the families, the volunteers, I started with 4 volunteers when I got here. It was 4. And I looked at all of them and I said, hey, y'all get ready.
Yeah.
We're about to, what do you mean? I was like, well, y'all are tired. You're overwhelmed. We're about to get more. So we went from 4 to 25. And now today we have each Wednesday night serving within our student ministry. I believe the number is 72, 73 volunteers.
Yeah.
I don't know. It keeps growing. If they're ready to serve, we kind of just plug them in. So that number keeps growing too. And I'm very thankful for all the people. Just everybody that works behind the scenes in the sound booth and tech and worship team and check-in and the greeters, the door holders, the people, the hospitality team. They're the ones that are serving a slice of pizza. And without them, ministry doesn't happen, and kids aren't coming to know Jesus. And that's, the stats on that. The baptisms we've had, oh man, it's crazy. This past year, 2024, there was 31 student baptisms just this past year, and that's exciting.
Wow.
And then I hadn't even said the number that we run on Wednesdays. I don't want to say that; it doesn't matter. I just know that there's one more. There's the numbers of. There's a new kid every week, right? That's the numbers I care about. People are joining groups. People are growing in their relationship. People are talking about Jesus openly, and it's between teenagers. It's so cool.
Yes.
But just this calendar year, since January 2025 up until now, it's mid-March now, we've had 22 students either baptized or about to be or scheduled to be baptized. There's 3 coming up this Sunday.
Wow. Yeah.
So, it's cool to see what God's doing here.
No, it's incredible, especially midweek too, and what's happening. Now you got preteen ministry happening, you got middle school ministry happening, you got high school ministry happening. So you got 3 almost, they're together, but separate ministries happening on Wednesday night here on campus, which is incredible to see. I've been able to come and watch that, and it's just, there's so many moving parts and pieces, but it all works.
Yeah, it all works. That was a dream to get all that going. The middle school, high school split was monumental. It was we were nervous to do it because it's do you have 2 different student ministries then?
Yeah.
Is it 2? And we've fought hard to keep the identity of Centerpoint students the same and not hey, this is a middle school thing or high school thing. But we had been wanting to do a preteen ministry as an extension of our kids ministry.
Yeah.
People have been asking, hey, can you do something for our kids on Wednesday nights? Well, we would love to do something for everybody on Wednesday nights, just this building can't hold it.
Yeah, or limited.
And so us splitting middle school and high school allowed us to start and launch a preteen ministry that was geared just for 4th and 5th grades, because those kids are often overlooked, marginalized. Maybe it's like they're too old for kids ministry, but they're not old enough for student ministry, and they're stuck in this like ministry identity for them. And so we've created something that's just for them. So that's their identity in their ministry, is like, hey, this is just for us. This is, nobody else gets to do this but us. And so that was a cool thing to do, being the next gen pastor, being able to dream those and strategize how to do that. That was really cool.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And that's what I'm so excited about, and just being able to watch that unfold, because right when I got here, the preteen ministry launched, and then and just seeing that unfold is really cool. So you're here at Centerpoint. You've been here now for 4 years, 3 years, 2 years?
It's coming up on 3. June will be June will be 3 years.
Okay. You have a wife, you have kids?
Yes, got a beautiful wife of 10 years, or about to be 10 years, coming up on 10 in August.
You paused on that for a second.
Yeah, I had to think about it. I was like, but yes, it's August 14th.
It's okay, we all do.
August 14th, 2015. It's been a journey. I'm so thankful that my wife, when we were dating, she said, hey, you're going to go to church with me or we're not going to date. And at that time I wasn't in ministry. Like I wasn't shot out of some seminary. And then from that, it was starting to serve. From that, it was being more faithful in my serving. From that, it was taking leadership roles in my serving. And then slowly, God called me to ministry. But it was that moment my wife was like, hey, if I'm going to be with this man, then he's going to have to lead me spiritually. And so if he's not attending church, that's a red flag. And so I was like, yes, ma'am, I will attend church. So we've been married almost 10 years. It's been an amazing journey. We have 2 kids. We have a 4-year-old. She'll be 5 in June. And then we have he just turned 1 last week.
Wow.
So life is good. Kids are relatively healthy, going through all the seasonal allergies and colds and everything else. But life is good, man. We're enjoying it. We don't have any kids in school yet, but that's coming. So we're having to, figure out, okay, well, where's she going to go to school, and when is she going to go to school? And so, man, life is good.
Hobbies.
What are those?
What does Rob do? Okay, let me ask you this question before we get to there too. How many pieces of pizza do you think that you've consumed since you've been in ministry?
Ooh, that's something I should
keep stats on.
Yeah, right. I intentionally don't eat pizza on Wednesday night. Sometimes I'll grab a slice, but I try not to, because me and my wife have this thing after Wednesday night. It's about 9:15, 9:20. I leave the building. I stop by McDonald's. I grab a Big Mac with large fry and 2 large Cokes. And we go home and we unpack Wednesday, because it's a long day for me. I put about 13 hours in on a Wednesday. And we don't see each other a whole lot. And even when they're in the building here, my mind and my focus is on ministry and not my family. And they understand that and get that. And so it's just a time to just kind of decompress. So that's my Wednesday night secret. Big Mac, large fry, conversation there at the house. Kids are asleep, and it's just some time for me and her to talk and unwind from the day. But man, I would say easy. In ministry over the years, I would maybe 1,000, man. Think about it. I mean, at least that's a lot, because that's our motto here. Is that we were looking at budget and things, and we were trying to do like Chick-fil-A once a month and do different things once a month. And it was like, look, we're growing so fast, so quick. We can't keep spending the same amount of money per kid, because that exponentially grows. And so we was like, hey, let's just serve pizza. Every Wednesday. So that's what we do. And you even got the shirt on today. It's on the back. And Jesus and pizza. And that's what I tell parents. Your kid is guaranteed 2 things on a Wednesday night. They're guaranteed to get a slice of pizza, and they're guaranteed to hear about Jesus. I can't guarantee anything else other than that, but that's what they're going to get.
No. And that's what I love about our student ministry here, is it's not this big, like, hey, we got to do this. It's not event driven. It's just, hey, this is what we're offering. This is what. It's no magical formula. It's simply Jesus.
Yeah,
And
it's
Jesus,
simply that,
yeah.
and that's what I love about it. We do events and we go to camps and things of that nature, but it's the motto of our church. It's all about relationships. We try to get kids and adults to be in this room to form relationships. Most importantly, a relationship with Jesus is paramount in that. But a community, a true sense of community. I mean, sitting around these couches to see on a Wednesday night our senior girls sit in this room that we're in now, and it's girls from different schools that wouldn't normally like hang out. That I get to see relationships form, and then they're hanging out outside of church, which wouldn't have happened if church wasn't in the picture, right? And the same thing happens with all of our groups, middle school, high school, the adults too. I mean, it's all about relationships. We are trying to provide community because life is tough, and they need somebody to talk to when life gets tough.
Yes, no, absolutely. Hobbies,
yeah. Back to hobbies. So hobbies for me, it kind of in 2020 things changed. Everything changed, right? There was a global pandemic, but also it was, hey, our daughter's about to be born June 19th, 2020. And so I forgot what hobbies was for a long time. It was like, we can't go do any of them. So it was just like hanging out at the house, doing stuff with the fam. And so when a little baby girl comes along, your whole paradigm changes of the whole world. When she grabbed onto my finger the day that she was born, June 19, 2020, changed my life. I was looking 15, 16, 20 years ahead.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, what type of world am I going to be launching my daughter into when she graduates high school? I have a responsibility in that, in a way, not in a macro scale, but a very micro scale for her. And so I was like, man, all this other stuff don't matter. I used to go shoot hoops all the time. Try to do that once, twice a week, get my workout in that way, running, jumping, shooting, all that stuff. Used to swim a lot. That stopped. I don't know.
Do you love woodworking?
Woodworking.
Rob is Mr. Fix-It Felix.
Yeah, well, trying to like remodel a house, do it myself. That's become my hobby, and so it's tough because it's a lot of work. But it's pretty cool to see it all and the money that you save doing that, and it's fun to say, "Hey, I did that."
Yes.
But I mean, I'm sitting here recording this, and I know at home right now there's a half-done island in my kitchen right now that would be so good if there was a top on it, but there's not a top on it right now, so you can't set anything on it because it would fall through the cabinet. So just stuff like so woodworking. I love to build tables and things of that nature, small crafts, chairs, lawn furniture. Haven't done too much of that lately, but I love to go play golf if I get a chance to go play golf. Around here, we call it the Gospel Outreach Leadership Forum.
Yes.
It's a fancy way to say, hey, I'm going to play golf.
Yes.
I didn't know if that was a secret or not, but I just let it out the bag right there.
We're the comedic relief when we go golfing.
We are definitely the comedic
Other
relief.
Other people
when
take
we
it more
golfing.
serious than we do.
I enjoy it because golf is a game that, like, it teaches you to be humble because I like doing it because I'm not good at it.
Yes.
Because if I'm like going and pressure's on and whatever, I feel like it's a job almost. I just go to have fun, laugh, and make fun of each other. And if you can't take jokes, you better not play golf with me because I'm gonna be cracking jokes and I'm gonna be expecting them on the way back. So, hobbies, that. But mainly, man, just hanging out with family, traveling, just. A good day for me, a good hobby is to sit at the house and do nothing. I don't know if you're there yet.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
But that's a great, I don't know if that's a hobby. Nothing would be classified as a hobby, but that's fun. Yeah. Nothing is fun.
Yes, no, and it's necessary.
I don't know if that's quotable or not. Nothing is fun.
Nothing is fun. Nothing is fun for me in life right now. Yeah. No. So we're asking the staff this question. What is the most important thing or kind of thing that you've learned or kind of concept in your faith or in ministry that you feel like every believer should know or be reminded of? What do you think is like that most important thing?
Man, there's a lot.
Oh yeah, there's so much.
Being a former coach, there's so many like one-liners that I could throw out right now, and would all be good. But right now, as I told you before we were recording, I didn't know what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And right now I'm trying to decide which one. I may give you two, but one was once said to me when I was coaching. It was from a pastor, though. He defined stress for me because he could see that I was stressed out. But a lot of times we get stressed out and we don't even know why. We're just like stressed, and we're like, well, I can't even define why I'm feeling the way that I am. But he defined it for me as it was the separation between expectation and reality. It's like, hey, where are you trying to get, but where are you currently at?
Yeah.
And it was the gap that existed between the two. And when he said that, it clicked. I was like, I can finally define stress and evaluate how to not be stressed.
Yeah.
And so it was, hey, this is where I want to get, and I shouldn't lower my expectation to be less stressed, right? That shouldn't be it. It should just, you should understand the reality of where you're at. And then set systems in place, goals, in place to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
And so when I evaluate it that way, man, I don't ever get really stressed out about much. Really, if it's not outside of my like if it's outside of my control, I'm like, ain't nothing I can do to fix it. So why am I stressed about it? You know, and so that's a big deal, because a lot of people get stressed out about stuff they can't even control.
Yes.
And so I'd say, hey, define where you want to be, or most importantly, this is going into the second part. Where does God want you to be?
Yes.
A lot of us try to figure out the path on our own. And so the second snippet of wisdom, I would say, quit trying.
Yeah.
Like, something happens in ministry a whole lot. It happens through delegation for sure, but the less I do, the more actually happens.
Yes.
From a ministry scale. Because if I try to do it all on my own power, my own strength, we're going to fail. And that's in every aspect of life, whether it's family, whether it be professional relationships, whether it be ministry, whether it be at your job or wherever, is that we try, and nothing happens. And so when you can sit back and rely on God to be at work and understand and know and set in that reality that God is working.
Yeah.
In and out of everything that you see, it really helps you in life. And so I'd say quit trying and let God do what He's going to do. And that's probably some of the most important things, because a lot of us try things on our own power and they fail miserably. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Quit trying.
Yeah.
Quit trying. We got a God that loves us so much.
Yes.
And one of the quotes that I like to say is that it was not the nails that held Jesus to the cross. It was His love for me and you that held Him to the cross. And when you can sit there and realize it was not the nails, you can say that, I got a God that loves me so much. He's got great things for all of us.
Oh, yeah.
And so quit trying to do it all on your own and sit back and ask God, hey, God, where do you want me to be? Then you'll realize, hey, I am going to be less stressed out, because God wants me to be here, but I've been fighting to be somewhere else.
Yes.
Where does God want me? And to set goals and set systems in place in your life to get to where God wants you to be. And God's going to be at work in every one of those steps.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That's good. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's beneficial for everyone listening and every leader in every different capacity. And man, thank you for being honest.
Yeah.
Last thing, quick thing. What is your favorite snack? You pull into a gas station.
Ooh.
What are you grabbing? Drink and snack.
Am I traveling?
You're traveling.
I evaluate this. You can ask my wife. I know where every good gas station is between here and there. Doesn't matter where there
is. You're traveling, Rob.
I'm traveling.
You're
okay.
pulling off. You're pulling off to a Buc-ee's. You're on your way to Arkansas to
Buc-ee's.
visit family.
Okay.
What do you got?
It's opposite direction,
hands?
but both hands. I'm gonna probably have Coke has this new Coke out. It's an orange cream Coke. It's pretty good. I'd say probably a Coke or some type of Red Bull.
Okay.
If I'm traveling, and then I like sunflower seeds if I'm traveling, especially at night. I've been traveling a lot at night lately with kids. They sleep in the car, so it's like you can drive without fussing and chaos and World War III in the back, you know. And so we drive at night. So sunflower seeds, the Chinook brand of sunflower seeds, those are exceptional, man. Those are really good. And then, yeah, man. But if I go by a Buc-ee's, that fresh hot brisket on the board, you know, you can just hear it. That I said it there. Fresh hot brisket on the board, and you got to get a sandwich. You got to get a sandwich. Doesn't even matter if you're hungry or not. You get a sandwich, you'll figure it out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, Rob, thank you for your time today, and you'll be seeing all the staff on more episodes and kind of more specific in their ministries and stuff of that nature. If you have a preteen all the way through, if you have a young adult, get in contact with Rob. He'll get you plugged in. He'll get your student plugged in, or maybe you're looking to serve in different capacities there. Talk to Rob. He'll get you plugged in.
Yeah.
Rob, thank you for joining us,
Absolutely.
and we will see you guys on the next one.
Yeah.